Hi, good morning everyone. I am Anirban Roy and I am back with another video where I will be demonstrating multi-platform data uploads as REST API for via Salesforce Apex. Now, for most of the developers, uploading a file as multi-platform data is a nightmare. Why? Because the reason for this video is that sometimes what happens is that when you set up the multi-platform data upload as Apex, it either way doesn't get uploaded, or even if you upload the file, the actual content of the file doesn't get uploaded, which results in corrupted file on the server itself. So for this, I've created a app class where I will be demonstrating two example scenarios of uploading one to a Google Drive and two to a vector store. Now, before everything, let me introduce myself. I am Anirban Roy. I have been a Salesforce developer for the past 3+ years, and I have expertise in Lightning Web Components, Apex development, complex integrations as well. So that's all about myself. Now let's get back to the video. So before we begin, what is multi-platform data? Why it is required? So multi-platform data is basically, you know that for SOAP API we use XML to upload XML data or get the XML data in the SOAP API request, and when it comes to REST API we use JSON to interact with the server. But what do we do in case of files? So for files, we have something called multi-platform data, which actually allows the binary file format data to be uploaded to a server. So you can see the definition here, how the multi-platform data works. So the multi-platform data is basically, it actually combines like multiple body like binary data formats body into a single body, which is separated by boundaries. So you can include multiple files as well. So that feature is also there in multi-platform data. However, in terms of Salesforce, you need to know that there is obviously a restriction for governor limits, like you cannot upload more than a 12 MB file or maximum of 11 MB file, because 1 MB we have to keep reserved for the Apex code invocation. So regarding that, I will be coming up. For demonstration, I will be showing two separate implementation examples where I'm using one, I will be uploading to a Google Drive, and two, I will be uploading to a vector store. What is vector store? Vector store is basically like, if you know that everyone has used ChatGPT, right? So in ChatGPT, what you do, you ask a question and the ChatGPT responds you with the answer, right? That's called prompt, and that's a response. But what does AI do in terms of files? When you upload a file and ask anything related to that file, the AI responds you back, right? It is reading the file content and it is responding you accordingly, right? So vector store is basically, you upload a file into the database, basically where the this unstructured data, because files are unstructured data, right? What you see as a text content, these are all called structured data. When you just prompt and you get a response, that's called structured data. But when it comes to unstructured data, we can include any kind of file, like whether it's an image, whether it's a video. These all are unstructured data, right? Now, what AI does is that it uploads to the vector database. Now, from the vector database, we have this vector search where the AI retrieves the content based on the prompt. So that is what the vector search is. This is actually not about the vector search. I will be, if required, I will be creating a separate video. But this is overall like how AI with vector database works. Now I will be coming back to the demonstration, but before that I want to show you the two APIs which I will be using, as I told you. First, this is the vector database. I will be using the OpenAI files platform, where I will be uploading a file for a vector database. So here you can see that you have a curl command. Curl commands where there is a URL specified. The endpoint is api.openai.com. So it's a OpenAI API, and we have to pass the authorization with a bearer token. And there's a purpose, which is so if minus f means this is in body, okay? So we have to pass two body form data information. Minus f is body in form data format. So one is the purpose, which is it's a text content. Now if I just scroll down, it takes two information. You can see it takes assistant or fine tune. Now purpose that actually what it does, why do we need to put the purpose? You need to know about that, right? So purpose is basically when I want to ask anything, any questions related to that file, right? When you upload a file to ChatGPT and ask any questions related to that, then I will be putting the purpose as assistant. So basically I am telling chat that the API that I will be using this for retrieval augmentation. So I will be asking questions related to that file and the response should be retrieved from that file. When it comes to fine tune is basically like if I want to train the AI. So fine tune we don't need now. I will be using assistant only. And I will be just showing you the next API. This is another complex API which is Google Drive upload. I'm using upload G Drive v3. In future it might be as of now it is version 3 we are using, but in future there will not be version 4 also. Now you can see that it has multi-platform data support where it takes any file which is less than 5 MB or less. Now the thing is that this is an example we are demonstrating. I am going to demonstrate for multi-part form data, right? So I will be using this one only. I will not be checking for this too. So now if I just click on this performing a multi-part form data upload, if I scroll down, click on the HTTP. So here you can see this is the endpoint I need to hit, and where I need to put two information as I told you, right? Create the body of the request, format according to the multi-part related content. You can see that it is telling you that it has to be multi-part form data formatted. Where I need to put the first where I have to put a application JSON file where it will be contain the metadata. Now what is metadata? Assume that I am uploading a file to Google Drive, right? After I upload the file, I can obviously change its description. If you see that every file and folder in Google Drive has a description field, has a name field, has a last modified date, last created date, just like we have in Salesforce. In another terms, we can say those as file attributes. And then there comes the media, the actual media, which is basically the file itself. And the MIME type has to be mentioned in the header. That is what it is telling. So this is about the API. Now I will just show you one demonstration for the API before I jump into the actual demo via Salesforce. So here you can see that for OpenAI, it takes two information, just like as per the requirement of the API. I told you like the purpose and the file itself, right? You can see the purpose I've set it to assistant. Now I will be uploading a file. So I will be just clearing this documentations. I will be just uploading a file. Now you can see that these are the files that I have in my system. These are all sample files I have utilized. So I will just use, let's say, assume that I want to utilize a text file. I'm just going to click open, and this is the file. And if you see in the header, this one, in the section of this Postman, you can see I've selected form data. That is why I'm able to put multiple types of files. You can either choose text or file. Text means basically if I want to specify a text, or I can choose a file. So with multi-part form data, you need to understand that you can also upload multiple files, which is happening in Google API. So here it takes the file metadata, which I told you. I will be coming back what is the metadata about, and then it takes the actual file content. You do not need to put a key, but I'm just putting it like just for demonstration AB. So first I will be demonstrating the OpenAI, and I will be sending it first. And you can see it has provided me with a response where I get the ID of the file, and you can see the file ID is given. So it's actually uploaded successfully because the status is processed, and I can see the file is created as well. So if I go to my OpenAI storage, give a small refresh, and you can see the file is uploaded. So, and this is ready for vector search, which I told you. And the next thing, similarly, if you see that now I will tell you about something more about the API response. If you see in the response, I'm getting the ID in a small in small characters, right? The I and D small characters. The same format you will also get in Google Drive. So the payload for success is actually the same. You get the file ID no matter what. Whether you upload it to Google Drive or whether you upload it to a vector store, you actually get the file ID in the same JSON format. So now I will be performing a file upload via G Drive, just to show you another example. Okay, first I will be deleting this because I don't want to keep it. We'll be demonstrating from Salesforce. Now we'll be showing one more via the Google Drive. Now here we need the file metadata JSON. So what I will be doing, I will be just going to any JSON formatter, and I will be creating a JSON where name is, let's say I want to give a sample name. Because that's a JPG format, I can provide I have to provide an extension. I can provide a description as well. Ensure that your JSON is correct. I'm going to minify it. I'm going to copy it. So I can remove the exclamation. I don't need. This is just for demonstration. That is, I just added. That is actually the text, the name itself. I can now copy it, minify it. Control A. Go to my any of the text editor. Control V. Control S. Save it in the desktop with the file name. Let's say file metadata.json. Now you might say, Anirban, how you are getting all this file metadata, where you are getting all these keys, right? The JSON keys. So if I just come down to the documentation, if I scroll up, the file which I opened in new tab, right? Here you can see what are the metadata that you can provide. You can provide the kind, the drive ID, but not everything you can provide. You have to check based on the requirement. That's up to you how you will implement, but this is what it is. So if I search for name, you can see the name and description is there. Stared is also there, trashed, everything is given. So accordingly, you can add the metadata. So what this metadata does, so assume that I am uploading a file, but because I provide in the metadata, I provided my name, right? So the file name will be changing to this, and the description will be overridden with this of that file. I will be demonstrating that. If I just go back to my this one, first I will be selecting the file metadata first. I'm going to desktop. Here is my file metadata.json, and then I will be selecting the file itself. Now I will be just going to downloads. You can see the actual file name is something different, so I will be just selecting the file. Now I will be sending it, but before that I can show you in my Google Drive there is no file as of now. I will be just bringing it side by side, and these two I can close. I will just click send. What happened is that the authentication actually got expired, so I'm going to retrieve a new authentication. Now anybody who wants to learn about authentications, about auth2 and how we can do with bearded tokens, so if required I will be creating a separate video. Do let me know in the comments. I will be creating a separate video for that if required. So I will be just using this token, and now I will just go back to my upload a file, and I'll just click send. And you can see the same way I also get the ID. As I told you, the JSON format is same. I get the ID of that file, right? And it's uploaded as my type as image JPG. I don't want it to provide the MIME type. This Postman actually handles that. So if I now go back to my G Drive, you can see there is an image that got already uploaded. And now if I just right click, go to its file information, because I have changed the file name, right? You can see the file name actually got changed. The description is the same which I put in the file metadata. So that's interesting, right? So yeah, you can include whatever you require. I will be also demonstrating the same thing from Salesforce as well. That is why this demonstration is being done. So this is all about the example. Now I will be moving to the Salesforce one. Now in Salesforce, I have already configured the name credentials and external credentials. If there is a requirement that you want to learn how this name credentials and external credentials work, Do let me know in the comments. I will be creating a separate video for that. So I'm not going to demonstrate, but you can go through the documentation of the Google API and the OpenAI, and you can set it up accordingly. So now if I just move on to the developer console, you can see that I have already created a trigger. So I'm going to tell you the scenario first. What I will be doing, I will be uploading a file from the Salesforce normally, how we do it traditionally, and it's going to upload to those servers. Now there is one more thing you have to note. You can see that OpenAI, if I select any of the file, right, whether it's an image, whether it's a text file, whether it's a document file, I can upload that. In the same fashion, I will be uploading into Salesforce as well. First, I will be deleting this file. There is a trigger on content document link. Now you need to know that there are three things that has recently been changed. Like, you know, that Salesforce does not use the older way of like uploading to notes and attachment. Now we use the files. Now Salesforce has three objects related to that files, which is content document, content version, content document link. Content document is where the actual file attributes reside. The content document link is basically through which objects or which records this file is attached. Like if I upload a file, so if I upload a file through Salesforce, it is actually I have uploaded, right? So it creates a link with my user ID. If I upload it from a record, it actually creates two different links. You have to note that. One, it creates a content document link for the user ID, and second, it creates the content document link for that related object record. So it can be a lead, it can be account, it can be a custom object, it can be anything. Now, for demonstration, this is actually a trigger where I'm just running it and after insert, I'm actually doing it on content document link only. So this is the condition which states the same. This method is getting invoked. So if I just go to the file uploaded, if I scroll up, you can see that it takes the list of content document link because I have passed trigger.new from that actual trigger. And then when I started looping the files, I am again retrieving some additional attributes related to that. Now note that in trigger, you do not get those additional attributes. Let's say I want to get the content document, which I told you, the metadata of that file, right? I need to retrieve explicitly. So you can see that I have retrieved that content document, and here I have the content document assigned to another variable, cdoc. Now, as I told you, right, that there is a limit of how big the file we can upload through Salesforce. It's actually not more than 11 MB if we are doing with asynchronous. If we are doing synchronous, it's actually less than 5.5 MB. But I suggest you keep it around 5 for synchronous process and 10 or 11 MB for asynchronous process. Now, here you can see that, as I told you, like I have to check like whether the file should not exceed 11 MB size limit, right? Then I'm just getting the content version where I'm just checking if it is less than 200 KB or if it is greater than 11 MB, then you continue. So I'm not stopping the loop here. I'm going to continue, and it's going to continue with the next item. So then I'm getting the content version. I told you what content version is, the file binary data where it resides, right? And you can see then I'm getting the file binary data into base64 format. Then I get the file name created, and then I can, if you see that I told you that I will be demonstrating two separate endpoints, but as a simultaneous uploads only. So I'm uploading to a vector store. I'm also uploading to a G drive simultaneously, where I have just provided two endpoints. Now you do not need to write like this. It's up to you how you will implement, but this is just for the example standpoint I'm just doing. Now it takes a vector store. So I will be just coming out to the vector store. I told you, if I scroll down, you can see in the header that the purpose and the file is there. Now why does the file get corrupted? Sometimes, as I told you, right, after the 3 MB file, Apex actually does not treat the binary data into actual UTF-8 format. So in that case, this is why this code implementation is done. I suggest not changing this code. Any required changes you can change in the header, but from here, from line number 43 till here, you do not change anything, because this is actually which will keep body blob intact. Here I'm making the actual request where I'm setting the timeout to extending the timeout to 2 minutes, which is by default it's 60 seconds, but I'm extending to 2 minutes because in case of large files like 11 MB, it can take some time. Then we make the call out, then we get the status code, and based on the status code I have created two wrapper classes. As I told you that the wrapper classes request, right, it actually is the same. I get the file ID no matter what. So you see, when the wrapper class responds, I am getting the file ID for both, which is same, which is in small letter. In case of error, it actually wraps up inside another error object, where you get the for OpenAI you get it in the code string format, and for Google Drive you get it in integer format. That is why this both implementation has been done separately. There is also a file uploader test. You need to modify it according to your needs. Like if I want to run this Apex, it will run this test class, it will not run. Either way, I have to run for GPT or have to run for the Google Drive, because this test class is created accordingly to that. You can see the content type and everything is mentioned, so you can run it out. As I told you, what happened is that, like, I actually created the test class before. I didn't knew. Now later I got to know. But you can see the success mock is basically where I get the ID, right? So in the success mock, where it implements the HTTP mock callout, it actually implements the same body. So no matter what, if I use G Drive or if I use vector store, both are actually going OpenAI vector store. Both are actually going to be the same success. But in case of error, as I told you, in case of OpenAI, it's going to return in a string format, and in case of G Drive, it's going to return a number format. So I can show you a simple example. If I go back to the OpenAI, let's say I don't prove the purpose, right? Let's see what happens. I will just click send, and you can see purpose is a required property. So you can see it actually wraps up inside the message, actually wraps up inside another container, which is error object. So that is why this implementation is done accordingly. You can see the same way I have wrapped it up. So this is all about the similarly for G Drive also. I'm not going to again show, but that is how it happens. Now I will be showing the actual demonstration. Now you might say, Anirban, like how to determine what types of file you are uploading. Now here, in the actual class, I have tested this actual implementation with multiple types of files. Okay, this is a hard concrete file. I can tell you this will work on any types of file as of now. I've tested with Excel files, PPTX, Python files, or Java files, even text files as well, even document, PDF, everything. It is working fine. So I suggest do not changing it. Now, why I have created why I'm showing two different use cases, because if you see for the uploading to G Drive, right, the header takes the file metadata JSON, right, but while uploading to vector store, it takes the purpose as assistant, which I told you, right? Okay. So in case of G Drive, if I come down, it takes a file. Now you have to know that in the file metadata JSON, as I showed you in the example, that I'm providing a name and the description, right? In the same way, in the metadata JSON, I'm providing the name and the description, where I'm just writing this down. The file was uploaded to Salesforce on my local time. So it's a formatted time, which is taking the current time in a format, in a date time format, in the local time format. So that is how it is doing. So when the file gets uploaded, I am expecting the description should be having this value. So similarly, in the header, you can see the file type, file name, file metadata.json, where I have included that actual metadata, JSON information, content type as application JSON, and then it comes the content disposition as form data file, where the actual file name is there. And then this implementation actually the same. You do not touch this implementation. This is same for both G Drive and for vector store. And then I'm just making the call out. Only change is that I'm making the endpoint to G Drive access. Okay, but here also the implementation is same. You can see the status code here, and this debug logs you can remove. And there's one more thing I want to tell you. This class is not created in accordance with the best practice of Apex. This is just for demonstration of how multipart-form data works and how we can resolve that. So you need to change the code accordingly, and it also handles the error codes also. As you can see, it is not wrapped with try catch also, so you should do that as well. So moving on to the demonstration now, I will be uploading a file, and my expectation is it should be simultaneously uploading to G Drive as well as the vector store. I will be just selecting the file. Let me select a text file for now. It's 3 KB text file. I will just click done. I will just move to my vector store, give a normal refresh. Let's see what happens. It might take some time because it's running on future method, right? So it's asynchronous process. You need to wait for some time. But you can see actually the file got uploaded. And if I move to my G drive, you can see the text file also got uploaded and it is intact. So the multi-platform data is working fine. And I've tested, as I told you, I've tested with multiple types of file. Now I will be showing you demonstration with multiple file uploads as well. Now you have to note that this trigger is bulky. I have written it in bulkified format. What is bulkified format? It is handling all the content document links which are coming, and it is going to upload them one by one to the designated servers. Now I will be selecting the files, other files. I will be selecting a financial sample, I will be selecting a document, I will be selecting a PDF. 3 different types of files I'm uploading, which is again dynamic, right? So the use case, you can see the Excel has got uploaded, document got uploaded, and a PDF got uploaded as well. I will just click done. If I go to OpenAI, you can see all the 3 files are now coming, and it is ready for retrieval. The actual content itself got uploaded. You can see 81 KB. And if I go to my G drive to check, ensure, let me give a refresh. You can see the actual file contents are also got uploaded. The sample document, the sample PDF, everything it got uploaded. And that's all about the demonstration. But just to tell you, like I will be uploading the same into my GitHub page, the trigger and the classes. Clone this project. Take a look at the documentation and how to get it started. This is all about the demonstration. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions related to this, and yeah, I will be back with another video next week. Thank you.